Hey everybody, I'm so sorry I can't be here today. Grace woke up at 3:45 a.m. with a really high temperature, like 101.6, so we're going to the doctor today. But we're going to work on today, as promised, converting between mixed fractions and proper fractions and vice versa. And then we're also going to do a little bit of practice on reducing fractions to simplest form. So let's get busy right away. You should have this paper in front of you. If not, take a moment and make that happen. And then I'm going to get rolling here. All right. I want you to take some notes in the top corner of your page here because I want you to see and remember how to change one of these. Let's do an improper fraction down here. Let's practice changing one of these to, a mixed number. Now, mixed number is called mixed because it has a whole number and a fraction with it as well. Okay, so this is a mixed number. This one appears improper. It's bigger on the top than the bottom, and that's just wrong. And that's how I remember it being improper. Okay, so let's start with one of these, writing this mixed number as an improper fraction. All right, so up in the corner of your page, let's write a mixed number. It's going to be 4 2/9. And I know some people remember how to do this. But what this is saying is that there are 4 whole groups of 9, because remember our denominator tells us how many pieces of pie our little fraction is going to have. So we're going to do 4 times 9 because it's 4 groups of 9, and then we're going to add in that 2. What I like to do is go like this and do like a little swoop. So I remember that I'm starting here, I'm doing 9 times 4, and I'm adding the 2. So we're going to go 9 times 4, and then we're going to add 2. 9 times 4 is 36, and we're going to add 2 more. That's 38. 38 is our numerator. That's how many ninths we have. We have a bunch of pieces of 9, and we have 38 of them. Now this one looks funky. It should, because these are equivalent. 38 ninths and 4 2/9, they're the same thing. If you take 38 ninths and you put them into groups of 9, you're going to have 4 groups with 2 little ninths left over. You will always have the same denominator. Always, always check. If something is wrong, if you are not rocking the same denominator, the denominator has not changed, okay? So I want to show you 1 5/6 down here because there are 2 ways. We can do it this really cool way that I just showed you with the times and the plus, or I can do a picture, and I want you to do both. So do these with me. 1 times 6. I kind of want to use a different pen color here. Let's try using blue instead. Let's focus. 1 times 6 plus 5. So 1 times 6 plus 5, okay? 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11. So we have 11 6 here. Let me show you a picture of this. If I have 1 whole, my denominator tells me that there are going to be 6 pieces in every whole. That's an easy peasy one. I do 1 down the center and then 2 little stripes, okay? So I need 1 whole filled in. And then I need another whole, but on this next one, I'm only going to fill in 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I count up all of those 6, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I color these weird? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go, 11 6. It's really important. I talked in some of the classes yesterday that we understand what the picture of these fractions are, because these fractions are just numbers. They stand for something, and it's going to help us to understand why we get this number 11 on the top. There are 11 whole pieces of 6 here. So let's go back up. If we are going to multiply to make mixed numbers into fractions that are improper, what are we going to do to make improper fractions into mixed numbers? Well, we are going to divide, okay? So I want to do this 16/3. So come up to the top of the page over here, and we're going to do 16/3. Let's make those into a mixed number. To make it into a mixed number, we're going to divide. We're going to do the opposite of the multiplication we did before. So we're going to take all 16 of these pieces, put them in here, and we're going to divide them into groups of 3. Groups of 3, because our denominator is 3, are going to give us whole pieces, and then maybe some leftovers, okay? So how many times does 3 go into 16? How many times? I mean, you can try a couple different ones. but it goes in 5 times because 5 times 3 is 15 without going over. So I'm going to have 5 whole groups of 3. So I'm going to write my 5 out here big because that's going to be my whole number. So 5 times 3 is 15, and we have 1 left over. When we have a remainder, what is that remainder? Well, it's 1 little teeny tiny third left over. So I have 5 whole ones, and then I have 1 in my numerator because I have 1 little third left, and I come back and make sure that my denominator is still 3. My denominator is still going to be the same exact denominator, just like it was over here. We stayed 9. Over here on this side, we're staying 3. Now let me try to draw this for you. If some of you have a difficult time doing the division, or maybe knowing that this 5 is our whole number, so we have a whole 5 and then a 1/3. Sometimes people mix these numbers up. They go, oh, I have a 5 and a 1 and a 3, but I don't know where they go. But when you know for sure the 3 goes down here, the 5 up here is our quotient. That's how many whole groups of 3 we took out of 16. So that's why I wrote that 5 really big to start. That might help you. I can also draw this. If I have thirds, I can just start drawing circles. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. We'll see. And I'm going to make thirds in all of these circles because I'm working with thirds. I know that each of my holes is going to be divided into 3 parts. And now I'm going to start shading in 16. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 1 more makes 16 thirds. Now, if I know I've colored in 16 thirds, I can go back and count up how many holes I have in my leftovers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes and 1 little leftover. Now, when numbers get big, like maybe they're 9s or something like that, instead of drawing out the pieces, you can just draw circles like this that say 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then my last one I can draw out with 1 little piece left, and then I have 5 holes. So you can just draw numbers if that helps you. These are 2 strategies to do the same thing. I want you to work towards getting up here, and some of us can do this in our head. We think, oh, how many times is 3 going to 16? 5 times, which makes 15, and that makes 1 more to 16, and that's 1/3 left. And that's okay if you can do that too. So when you get down into these, I want you to go ahead and do all of these for me today. What I would suggest is you have to show your work for sure. So show me your dividing. If you're doing a picture, show me a picture. If you're doing division, even if you're doing it in your head, you need to show me something, like 7 times something equals something, and then this is what's left over. Or actually show me the division. You can turn your paper this way and do like 12 divided by 7 to show me how you're doing that. Okay, and then write your answer over here. And that's just fine. One last thing I wanted to talk to you about on the back, we're going to look at simplifying. And we talked a little bit about simplifying yesterday. And so we used that factor sheet, which you can totally use. You can't use your calculator, or you can use your calculator on these, and you can use a factor sheet too if you brought one. And there are calculators in a basket on my cart that you're welcome to grab in a little bit. But what you're going to do on these is the same thing. You need to show me what you're dividing by. So let's just do, like, let's look at number 13 here. Sorry, once this focuses, holy moly. Okay, number 13 is 10/35. I know because there's a 0 and a 5 that this can be divided by 5. So I'm going to show my work there. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 35 divided by 5 is what? 7. Now I have to look at this fraction to make sure, is this actually simplest, or do I need to keep going? I know 7 and 2 are both prime, so there is no further going on that one. But for example, let me find one that maybe you can go a little further on. Okay, if you do number 19, 10 and 80, if instead of dividing by 10, I divide by 5, I'm going to end up with 2 and 16. And I can go further with that. 2 and 16 can both be divided by 2. So if I didn't see right away that 10 is the greatest common factor, I can keep going until I get down to 1/8. And remember, if I had started and done 10, I would have gotten 1/8 right away. So the only difference, these are both the same. You're going to end up with the same answer. The only difference between these two is if you do it in smaller chunks, you're just going to give yourself more opportunity to make a mistake on the calculator or in your head. It's just, you know, you're doing 2 different problems. You're dividing twice, so you could make an error. So this one is going to make less errors for you, and it's going to be a little faster. So if you can find the greatest common factor, that is what I would suggest. So use that factor card if you need to, okay? So It might take some of you the whole time to get this done, the whole class time. It might not. Those of you who finish, the sub will, if you bring up your paper and just show them that you finished both sides and you showed your work to how you did it, the substitute will give you a Chromebook, and you can sign on to my classroom and log in and create a login for Prodigy, and you can work on Prodigy math problems for the rest of the time. But like I said, you have to show this to the sub that you are done. And if you are not done, then the rest of it's going to be for homework for you. So get busy. If you have trouble, you can raise your hand and the substitute can come help you. But I would suggest that you talk to a neighbor to the right or to the left of you, and you guys can work together on it. That doesn't mean you're just grabbing an answer from somebody, because that's not going to help you at all. But you guys can check to make sure your answers are right and then go, wait a second, how did you get that? All right, thanks guys. I'm going to miss you today, but I hope to see you tomorrow. And if not, I will send you another lovely video.